So what's the, okay, if I have to put stuff in my planner, what's the first upcoming assignment, like something you want us to start?
Observing the group.
Observing?
Yep. It's observing the group. And then. Yeah, so if you observe the group. I wonder why it's not doing that today. Just because it feels cheap. I want to go with front HDMI. So yeah, the observation of the group is the key.
And that's due when again? It's on the syllabus.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's probably going to be today. Does anybody want a donut?
What kind of donuts?
It's just glazed. They're just all glazed. Because I knew it would be one of those days. You ever have?
I literally just had some.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Okay.
What? See, now I'm jealous. Maybe. Oh, what if? Watch this. That's why. See, there was 2 cords in that mess. Imagine that. So we're gonna go back to it. I can't convince anybody of a donut. There's Tyler and Brittany. Do you guys want a glazed donut? Now I'm just taunting them. I'm gonna get at least one for myself. There's also, have you seen the social work food pantry?
No, I have not.
That's because we're like starting it from scratch. It's part of our service work. You can come and look at the snacks.
Okay.
So they have to watch us leave and go get. I was just saying, they so lucky I'm sick. Okay. It's literally the corner.
You want to come right now?
Yeah, you got snacks. You didn't just lock. I got keys. That's part of the see. That's how you get Like it's not the only way to go. We got snacks. We went and got snacks. There's donuts if you want to be in the junk food room. I call it the junk food. Oh no. 311. Have you been to 311? I know, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing.
Yeah, so I didn't realize so much stuff had pork in it. Like I never realized that. Like
everything has like Even sometimes these.
Yeah, my sister-in-law, she's Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
She don't eat pork at all. When I do eat pork, I don't eat ribs, I get super sick. So I stop eating it, so I'm eating like turkey burgers.
Right. Right, yeah. I have even done the Beyond Burger this year, and it's mostly pea protein. I like it.
Well, she be making like Impossible burgers,
Mhm.
like the little, they not bad. They're actually good.
I like it.
It's actually good.
Next week will be 100 degrees.
What?
Mm-hmm. Cincinnati.
Is it AC in this building?
The AC seems broken, doesn't it? So it was saying 100 in Cincinnati. I don't know what it is up here. Let's see here. Shoot. So we got, oh, you didn't get a snack.
No.
Did you get taken care of with Nikita?
Yeah.
Were you doing your field thing?
I was adding on another class.
Oh, which one are you adding?
Practice 3.
Oh, yeah, with her?
Mhm.
Ah. We couldn't convince you to get junk food?
I just ate. I
Okay.
ate cupcakes.
That's what everybody's saying. They're like, well. So 4 groups. I had a few, actually Girls Circle I wanted to show you guys. If you choose to lead with Girls Circle, what it would look like. Like just the founders of them. I probably should do video. I can't type now with my greasy donut finger. And when I do, I ruin my computer. So here's one. We'll start off with this. If this works. And it should, like a lot of agencies use Girl Circle because it is designed well for, hopefully the sound works. Of course it's not.
Girl Circle is where we meet every Monday, and then we have conversations,
There's
and
a lot.
it's a place where you can express your feelings and trust and trust that they'll keep you and not judge you for your emotions.
We learned how to respect ourselves and our body image and how just to live the way you want, and that's what everybody can do.
It's important to have a program like this because most girls don't really like to talk about stuff and they don't really feel comfortable talking about certain things, especially like family. And it's just really nice to have a program like this where, you know, it's confidential.
Did you get something?
Not such a, yeah, it's really helpful.
Got another class.
For the past 4 years,
Okay.
I've been assigned to Creighton Thompson Middle School as their school resource center. As an SRO, it wasn't long before I observed the girl drama so many of us remember about middle school. I was investigating girl fights, cyberbullying, harassment, and just the plain mean things that girls do to one another in middle school. I knew I needed to take a proactive approach, but I didn't know how. After sharing my vision for a Mean Girls group with Sergeant Danya Amick, she told me about a program she had briefly heard about called Girls Circle. Girls Circle is a research-based model of structured support groups for girls ages 9 to 18. It is designed to foster self-esteem, help girls maintain authentic connections with peers and adult women in their community, counter trends towards self-doubt, and allow for true, genuine self-expression through creative activities and verbal sharing. The mission of Girls Circle is to encourage adolescent girls to hold on to their voices and stay true to themselves and enhance judgment and critical thinking skills for wise and healthy choices.
Since I entered education 11 years ago, it's been a personal wish of mine to be a part of a girls-only group which focused on the needs of this particular age. As you know, adolescents have issues specific to their age group, and I believe Girls Circle helps fill some of the needs girls at this age have.
You can't always talk to people at home, or like there's not always a place to go to talk to people, and it helps a lot to have somewhere to go.
Programs like this help girls and all people see and know that they do matter. It's about building confidence, courage, and commitment, and respect for themselves. I've seen the girls at Dunston as a result of this program grow, both in their ability to face challenges in positive ways and proactive ways, to have that courage and commitment to show up every week, even though they know the conversations are gonna be hard. These are not easy things to talk about, but they matter. These girls matter. And this commitment from us as a community doesn't stop today, it doesn't stop with this work. I hope that they will turn to one another and turn to the resources in the community to continue to grow and be those models for those students and families that will come behind them.
The program has helped me change by, whenever I first started out, I would write things in a journal, and it got to the point where it wouldn't help me. And then I got chosen for Girls Circle, and I started talking about things, and it just gave me so much relief to talk about it with someone. When we first started last year, it was really hard for me to open up to people because I had trust issues. But I feel like Girls Circle kind of helped me open up more. And even now I talk to my mom more and I talk to my friends more about things.
It makes me feel good that she has people out there besides me to talk to, because usually mothers don't, or they think that we don't understand, when actually, I don't want to see her hurt, so I kind of try to help her, and sometimes that isn't what she wants. She just wants to be listened. So she has a bunch of girls that will listen to her.
I'm absolutely proud because like she said, she didn't speak too much. She was closed up and, hid her feelings very well. And with Girls Circle coming into her life, she has opened up and definitely taken more of a chance to trust people with what she has.
I wish I had something like that when I was in middle school, because I think it really would have made a difference in every choices that we all make. So I hope you girls and parents realize just how wonderful that you've had, and that high school. Each one of them are able to make very good choices and decision-making skills. So my hope is that they do not enter the system, that they're able to take this, what they've learned in Girls Circle, and apply it to their life in a positive way. I am so proud of these girls. Each one of them has came so far. At the beginning of Girls Circle, they came into the room and many of them didn't like each other. Many of them would talk.
So one thing I wanted to show is that the Girls Circle curriculum is good for multiple groups. We use it at Lighthouse. And the research shows it's a good group to use. So we also put donuts in the social work office if anybody wants a donut or a snack. What's that?
You want to go to school?
There's 12. I can't eat all 12.
Tyler said the line was missing.
It was? A lot of times they say you have to reset it, and again, why it's not a virtual class, but we do our best. So the next one was you guys would be trained as the leaders of the group. So
News 4 and 6 in high definition. Continue.
I didn't know it was in news.
It gives new meaning to the phrase girl power. News 4's Jim Goffman introduces us to a girls' circle that's changing lives in Reno.
We dance and we have Girls Circle, which makes me happy because it just lets out all the energy and you feel so relieved after.
We're all girls. Yes, they are. They're all from different backgrounds, all have different stories, but there's one thing they all feel in this Girls Circle: acceptance.
My favorite thing about Girls Circle is seeing you guys. They gave me support, the support my parents did not give me before. So now they're like my parents to me. They're wonderful people.
People usually when you talk to them, they don't really listen sometimes, but in here they'll listen and help you through what you need to get through.
It's a girls-only club, a free support group.
RESPECT.
It helps girls with self-esteem, fostering positive relationships with peers, and positive adult role models in the community, especially women that facilitate the group.
Chadwick says it's easy to get involved.
It's a 2-day training, and once you attend the training, you have all of the skills necessary to actually facilitate a girls' circle on your own.
The best reward for these leaders? Watching the girls grow.
it's been really a great program to do, to see some girls who are very introverted at the beginning come out of their shells and really come alive. We feel like some of these girls have turned into butterflies through this program.
In Reno, Jen Goffin, News Sports.
If you'd like to become a facilitator, there's a training seminar coming up this week, this Tuesday and Wednesday from 8 until 4:30 in the afternoon.
Any
Associate General
trained in it is the curriculum that you see here. The PowerPoints that I have for groups we taught at UC in one of my summer classes when I was at University of Cincinnati. Do you guys want me to email you like the PowerPoints?
Yeah.
Like through what's it called? Through D2L. That way you have access to them. It's so in groups, the biggest first piece when they talk about you're setting up preparing for a group is the forming stage. So like working with, it's so small on this one. I'm glad that you guys are able to see it. Some of the, oh, this may actually be it, but it's kind of jumping into the middle, but just like working with an agency, making sure you cover all legal, ethical, and other challenging issues. And some of them that come up, I'm gonna make this bigger. There we go. Wait, is this seriously the only? Okay, it's at the end. I'm like, where did it go? So like, you work at an agency, you do an assessment, you see that a girl is appropriate, or a boy. It doesn't always have to be girl, that's just the curriculum that I have. They're appropriate for a trauma group, they're appropriate for a challenging situation in their life came up and they need some healing in some way. And with that, on the assessment, you put diagnosis. So you guys can all do this with your bachelor's and then your license, which as senior, you can take your semester. So if it's like now it's August, if you graduate in May, it's in January. In your assessment, you're going to write, she seems appropriate for Girl Circle. And like that way, it's kind of like you're the doctor, you're given a prescription. And so that covers your legal basis. It's also like a contract. Like you tell them and their parents that your prescription, the insurance company sees that and they're able to see you've prescribed the groups for them. Now, when you do things that include both the law and ethics, which everything we do with social work includes the law and ethics. We want to look at the two areas separate and then also where they overlap. So it might just be like a quarter of the time that they overlap. For example, you could have state law that overlaps differently with a federal law, or like ethics within your own agency that are even stronger than the laws that you guys are covering. So you'll be trained when you work at an agency, even if you're an intern, you'll be trained at what the ethics are. They'll give you a code of ethics. They'll give you a pamphlet. Oftentimes they're similar. Do you guys remember NASW code of ethics? A lot of times they just mimic that. So that's the cool part, is that we already know as social workers what the code of ethics are going to look like. And so we're ready for it. And so what ethics define as, though, is it's suggested standards of conduct. Like you can't be arrested for it, but you could be fired. One example is like a dual relationship with a client. Like if you start dating a client. Some of them are if you date somebody you work with. So like some agencies are like, you can't date anybody within this agency. And that's just in their code. And you can't be in trouble or arrested for that, but they don't want you to work there if you're like, meeting somebody at work and you're dating them. So they'll put that in there. It's usually based on professional values. In that case, it can be weird because you might have going on and you're at work and you're fighting at work or some weird crap. So, and usually they cover the same things you see in the NASW code of ethics. So it's autonomy, beneficence, and it's working now. Reasons, justice, fidelity, and veracity. Sometimes I have to look up what those mean again because I forget. Social work 101 when we had all of these defined. And that's okay. You're allowed to Google it. So the code of ethics is created by the organization, a set of standards. Let's see if I can make it bigger here too. They're created by organizations to set standards and principles as guidelines for their members to follow. Even groups, this is the Association of Group Workers. So there's the NASW, which is the National Association of Social Workers. If you run groups, you can also join the Association of Group Workers. And they'll have different ideas, different things of what you can do as a group or how groups could work and should work. So some of the major ethical issues are like training of group leaders. Your agency will train you. Like if you're hired or you start as an intern, which one of you started an internship first in this room? Seniors or juniors? I guess next year. So if you're next year at your internship, they have to train you. You know what I mean? Like that's cool about being a student. Like you don't have to come in being the expert. You're still allowed to be a student even when you're a new worker. So they'll train you. They'll train you to screen potential members. Like for example, when I led the trauma group, we made it by almost invitation only. Like if somebody wasn't ready to come in trauma group, we didn't want them there because sometimes they could re-traumatize or make a scene, or if they didn't want to be there, you could tell they didn't participate. Also the rights of the group members. And sorry about the phone call. I got my own legal and ethical issues there. We got talked into this dumb security system that we found out would be $111 a month. They said for 2 years, then go to $50 a month after that. It turned out it was $111 a month for 4.5 years, which is $7,000, I think, 120. And so we canceled within, you get 3 days to cancel. And they're being a pain in the ass to cancel. They're acting like they didn't get it. They're like, oh yeah, we just saw your email and it didn't go through. And then they needed me because I was the like contract signer. My wife's like, if you don't pick up now, we're going to wait another 24 hours to cancel. So confidentiality with the rights of group members, that can be tricky because imagine if you have somebody in the group that goes off the rules of confidentiality, like they gossip. So you can't guarantee confidentiality in groups, which is kind of creepy. So you give people that warning. Like you can say you as the counselor will keep it confidential, but there's no guarantee that like other people, you ask for it, you request it, but not all the times you get it. There's personal and dual relationships. So again, you're going to say like nobody in the group can like hook up. Like you need to get through doing your stuff. Did you guys know what the law was for social workers in a dual relationship? Did we ever talk about this in 1100? So like lawyers and doctors, 3 years and 5 years, you can't have a relationship with clients because you're helping them on a contract as a lawyer or surgery as a doctor. We are almost like shrinks in the sense that we give them therapy and you're working on mental health issues. So when I was in school, this may have changed. I always say this because I'm not sure if it changed. It was for life. You can't get in a relationship with a client for life. And that's because you've known them at the vulnerable spots in their life and you've known them as like in their lowest time. So they don't want people taking advantage of that. So have you guys ever heard that or you heard about the dual relationship thing? Like you can't hook up with your clients. I guess that's basically kind of where it goes. And it does happen. So if you go on, have you ever searched why people get their license suspended or revoked? Sometimes it's that. Most of the time it's you skipped your continuing education unit. So every 2 years, you got to do CPUs. And that's how you get to keep your continuing education, to keep your license and renew it every 2 years. So personal dual relationships, use of group techniques, and we'll get into those like forming, norming, storming, and performing as you introduce the group. The leader's values, your records, and then closing and follow-up. So with legal issues, the law refers to a body of agreed upon rules by society set forth by basic principles for living together as a group. And like there, it could be the law as like a 22-year-old social worker, you couldn't hook up with a 17-year-old. I don't know if they still enforce that. Does anybody know if they enforce like age if you're 17 and someone's 18? You're legally not allowed to do that. Like, what's the age of consent in Ohio? I feel like there's. So you could be with an 18-year-old at that point. Okay.
16.
That's why I asked, yeah. And so again, it may be legal, but then your agency's like, again, no dual relationship with anybody in this group. So that's where the legal and the ethical thing, like where you find the overlap. But it's just best to know, like, if you want to date somebody at work, you like them, apply to work somewhere else, and then you can date them at that. Oh, you know what I mean? So there's ways around it. It's just like they all have their policies set in stone. And that's some of the overlap between legal and ethical issues. Also community, state, and national standards. And then legal action. We always say go with prevention. So like to not get sued is better to not do anything that you would get sued for. And that's why you do it. She said it got canceled. You guys ever have, so loud. It's like, whoop. Do they do that with contracts on cars and like, I've heard the 3-day rescission rule is like standard at a lot of, like a cell phone. Are you allowed to return your cell phone within a day or two? If you buy a $1,000 cell phone, you're like, dude, I can't afford this. I can take it back. Are they like, hell no, get out there with that take it back crap. You paid for it. You got it. You're stuck with it. They do give you. I think that's a law. So speaking of legal and ethical things, like they made it clear when he was selling us on Thursday. He's like, they showed me a video. So I guess it's if you couldn't read, and they were like, you have 3 days to cancel. No matter what, even if they installed which they did, they installed all the cameras in our house. They came that night, and I think they make it so you feel bad and don't want to cancel. Or like, dude, there's no way. You can buy those Ring doorbells are $100 or $2, and service is $4.99. $3.99.
Oh, okay.
$3.99, not $111. So when I looked it up, I'm like, I'm gonna cancel. If I was super rich, sure, but we just don't. It's crazy. So, legal and ethical in summary. So ethics suggests a standard of conduct based on a set of professional values. These are the 5 like in the Code of Social Work Ethics also. Autonomy, beneficence, non-malfeasance, I can't pronounce them. Justice. It means like do no harm and try to do good. Like beneficence is like do something to benefit somebody. That's beneficence. Non-malfeasance is like non and mal is Latin for don't do bad. Non-malfeasance. Justice, fidelity, veracity. So the law is a body of rules recognized by the state or community as binding on its members. So you can get locked up for like the law stuff. Ethics are often recommendations by your state board in social work or the agency board in where you work. There is overlap between ethics and the law. Some of them are saying like don't hook up with clients. One would say you get locked up if you work with a 16-year-old. The other would say I don't care what age they are. If you do that at this agency, you're fired. So look at when you apply, they may have something as simple as like the duty to report, do no harm. Again, the do no harm is a big one, non-malfeasance. So there's overlap between ethics and law, and group workers must be familiar with both. Because how many states we got here? Indiana, wasn't there Michigan, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois? Okay. So they're different. They're pretty similar, but every state. I think in Chicago, you don't need a license anymore.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing.
Right? I was like, what?
Yeah, she said like
I busted.
she said that
Maybe the independent
After like
license.
2 years, yeah, after 2 years, they just give you your license after working
Ah.
2 years.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh, is she teaching you that in practice 3?
Yeah, one.
Okay.
Yeah, one. In practice one.
Ah. So, another thing that comes up. Anybody here want to teach ESL?
Okay.
What's that?
Are you gonna send us these slideshows or do you want to?
I can.
Yeah, can you please? Okay.
They're good. Groups are often in substance abuse counseling, so that's why you see a lot of group classes geared toward substance abuse counseling. There are so many jobs in substance abuse counseling, it's like absurd right now. There's $400 million put into the state of Ohio for hiring social workers in substance abuse.
Is the stress level of the job like, is it really a stressful job or what do they necessarily do?
I would say, absolutely, if you don't do self-care, they're all gonna be bad. I did it for 3 years.
But you want people that go to be like AA
Yeah.
What was it? Was there a question or you were saying a statement? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying a statement.
What'd you say? I didn't.
She was saying like, is it a stressful job? I'm saying, yeah, like dealing with people that go to like AA meetings. and
Right.
rehab.
Right.
Just bad.
Well, they don't want to quit. They're court ordered. They have to hide from their
Oh,
PO.
they're court
They gotta pee
ordered. So this is
clean.
not them willing to like try to.
It depends. Yeah, you get a choice. Go to rehab or go to jail.
Yeah.
And then they'll buy the Toxinator. Have you ever heard of this? I can Google it for you guys. It's weird. You got to pick a color. It's probably been found to be illegal now. So you fill it up with pee and then go to the bathroom with it. Toxinator. I don't know if maybe they took it off the market. Oh, that's a bad one to look at. So it's basically that. So it's like a fake penis and guys use it to pee in front of their probation officer.
For real? Just to like pass it.
Right,
Oh.
right. So they'll buy the pee. In the past, they would do like take Golden Seal, because weed is also a lot more illegal in the past than it is today. You know what I mean? Like we'd get busted for anything in high school and college, like kicked out, and now it's like you get a prescription. You know, it's like totally different. But I don't know why the toxin doesn't show up. There's one. Well, that looks like one. Maybe I should say something like drug test passing kit. I think with women, they often do more balloons and then will like pierce it with a nail. So same difference. Why is it not showing me that? Maybe they made it illegal or something. But it used to be the first thing that popped up, and then it was just like all the different colors. You make sure, because if you went in and had the wrong color, then the PO is like, wait a minute, why do you have? Sorry, I don't know why that's so funny. Like, dude, are you okay? You wearing a lot of makeup or something?
Yeah.
So, and I forget where I was going with that, so I apologize. But like with addictions groups, there's a lot since the war on opiates. And that was, there's like 4 people. I was bleeping out. Was that like my cuss words? Does YouTube bleep out your cuss words now? I said you were bleeping out. So maybe they don't have them anymore. I feel sad. That was like my favorite Google search in a long time. But addictions is a high intensity job, and you got to do a lot of good self-care to do it. So with that being said, you also, when I worked at Claremont Recovery Center, it was 80% Appalachian. Have you guys ever heard of Appalachia? Like Appalachian folks live in the mountain range of Kentucky, West Virginia, okay, Pennsylvania. It's the whole Appalachian mountain region. So even like North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, both black and white. So, oh, in the mountains it could be cold, yeah. Yeah, at higher elevations you get more snow. It's like way up in the atmosphere, it's cold. I hiked the highest point in Virginia every winter for 20 years. Now I try to take the kids there, but it's cold and they're all bundled up and push them up the mountain to see the horses up there. It's getting harder. But going with that, identifying multicultural issues. So also working inner city is different than working in Appalachia, or working with a refugee population is different than working with, and often again, your agencies will train you for what they know is their frequent identity. I want to use the right word. Assess one's own awareness and understanding of cultural values and multicultural considerations in group work. So like Appalachians, let's just go there. There's black and white Appalachians. A lot of them came to Cincinnati after the coal mines closed. A lot of the jobs were like mining coal out of the mountains. And this one's in Tennessee, but just like knowing the cultural history and folks that you are working with, I should have hit a video. Does Facebook make it impossible to find a video, I guess? African American Appalachian music.
Black Appalachian music as well.
Yeah, here's more of a unique story behind these incredible sounds.
I love you, baby. All your eyes are bright.
It's like country almost.
Folk singer, storyteller, historian from Knoxville, Tennessee. You represent all. I've been doing American folk music for about 52 years in terms of being my profession. The music that comes from the African American tradition and the Southern Appalachian tradition is some of the true American music. You know, the other things people imported from other countries in exactly this way. The music that comes out of the black performers, the black musicians and the Southern Appalachian musicians is American music. It was created here in this country, not something that we brought in from some other place, but it was a blending of African and Native and Scott Irish and Irish music. And it's truly beautiful, unique music.
African American culture music began on slave ships because they were forced to kind of communicate, forced to combine languages, religions, and cultures. And from there, once they were dispersed throughout what's now the United States, is when we start to see different things develop and evolve.
The music that came out of Southern Appalachia did develop and grow into what is called bluegrass or country music.
With blues and jazz, at one point the fiddle was incorporated with those genres, but because that seemed like something that was too quote unquote hillbilly, it was taken out. So you start to see a lot of illuminations as well.
So that's the Appalachian Mountain Range there.
Incredible heritage.
And that was, so when I worked at Claremont Recovery Center, it was 80% Appalachian. And I had to be kind of trained to work with the Appalachian culture. Like I didn't know pain pills kind of started out big in like Appalachia and like Kentucky, and the pill mills of even parts of Ohio has Appalachian. And being trained if there's a large set of refugees that are in your community. Like I think Dayton, anybody here from Dayton? Or know of a refugee community from your hometown? Like you see all the folks from, somebody said Haitian in Springfield?
It's really bad.
That's what they were saying. They just said that yesterday.
And then like, I hate to say it like that, but it's really bad because they're really rude. Like, so like.
Oh, like almost entitled, or like,
yes,
give me a house, give me a car.
It's like, you know how when you're in a store, nobody's gonna walk into like your space.
Yeah, you kind of avoid the person.
They walk right through you, like.
So they're like, survival trauma
Yeah.
mentality, maybe.
That's what it
Like
seems like.
they experienced the earthquake and they're like, I need to get some damn food before it's all off the shelf.
Yeah, they're just like, we don't care if it's
Okay. Okay. Went, ugh.
Yeah.
I heard Springfield. I didn't
It's
know that.
really.
Like, are they an asylum town or something? Or you know what those things are called?
Where they can, I don't know.
Like where they send all the refugees and then,
But I was trying to figure out why they was doing there. I mean, we don't have.
like, was there a lot of wide open spaces or green spaces compared to, say, for example, Chicago or New York City? Because
Yeah, we're very like country. There's a lot of fields.
that's why I think Cincinnati and Louisville got a ton of refugees.
Yeah.
Because they are big cities, but there's lots of wide open green spaces and for new developments and building new housing but if we keep printing money to build that stuff, aren't we eventually going to run out of resources?
Yeah.
'Cause that's cool, you can print money to pay for it, but don't you run out of like concrete and shingles for a roof? And,
Yeah.
okay. So getting trained in like the Haitian, if you did work with the Haitian refugees, is it like Catholic Charities that works with them mostly up there, or who's like the big?
I didn't know that they see like, I've noticed that a lot of them go to like our, it's not urgent care. It's like they have like a community thing.
Okay.
It's more like on the south side of town. but
There's
on the
probably
south side-
resources there, right? Like a food
Yeah.
pantry,
It's like,
job training.
but they
A
have.
lot of times it's the community resource center.
It's kind of like that, but it's like a building where it has the doctors in there,
Yep.
all that stuff's in
And
one.
they take Medicare and Medicaid,
Yeah.
so if you're on, okay. Yes, so again, being trained in how to, like, we're the social worker.
Rocky
What is it called?
Horse Center.
Okay,
So like it has like I said, doctors in there, like anything you need, like, and then it has like, they'll get them help with like, if they need food assistance. If they need
Okay.
an interpreter, all that.
right.
It's all in there.
Right, and that's what my whole dissertation was about, refugee resettlement with the Burundians from Burundi, Africa. Similar stuff, tons of trauma because they lived out a civil war, so they'd watch family members die in front of them. Like there's,
We have something similar like that too in Minnesota because there's a huge like.
oh, that's big up there, right?
Yeah, like we have a lot of, cause my family's from West Africa too, and like
Yeah.
they've experienced like literally my mom and my grandma, like they experienced like war.
Right.
Yeah, like, yeah. So like there is like a building like that too where like.
Did their family members die? Or,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah, like my grandfather, like my grandma, she's been like still live. Like,
Oh,
the
wow.
war. Yeah, like it's.
Like you only see that on movies too.
Yeah, like they've been through some stuff. Like she literally has like till this day, like you'll see war marks. Like it's just so crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really like to ask too many questions.
Right,
I kind of
yeah.
let it flow because that's traumatizing.
You let them talk, that's exactly
I
how,
really let them to relive.
that's how they
especially
say,
my mom. Like all my siblings, because just me and the second to last, mom has 7 altogether. Just 2 of us was born in America, and the rest of my siblings was born back like in Liberia, and they experienced the war.
is that
too.
South Africa?
West Africa.
Okay, West
Yeah,
Africa.
so it's near like Nigeria, Ghana, Syria, Lebanon, all of that.
So when did your mom or the whole family come? Was it?
I can't remember the year, but like
Okay.
they came. I know the first place they went to was Rhode Island, so they lived in Rhode Island for a while, and then they moved to Minnesota, and then that's where they resided. And then my grandma came later on. She came in like 2000, like close to when I was born, because she really came to help my mom out. But like the point I was trying to make too is like my siblings too. Like they have. It's kind of weird because I don't know if it's like they don't talk about it, but I don't know if it's like some type of branding.
Scars or
You know?
tattoos?
Yeah, like literally, yeah.
A
Like my
number?
grandma got like tattoos, right? It's just kind of so cool, like history writing. But like they have like a scar like right here
Holy
that
shit.
all my siblings have. And it's just-
So what year were you born? Maybe that's,
2003.
so maybe they came over in 1999.
Yeah, like something.
Yeah,
Because my
okay.
sister was born. So the second to last year.
Have I shown you the video our teen refugees at
Yeah.
St. Leo's Parish make? So that's kind of the same stuff that we're dealing with like being trained to properly, like you said, with trauma therapy. You don't want to like push and ask, but as you feel safe, you talk about it. So like, so being trauma informed and being trained that way. So when did I show the refugee video? Was that like a last class problem?
Yeah, it
Okay.
was a class.
I don't remember if I showed it in this one yet, but I'm sure all of you have seen it. You're like, I don't.
If you had,
I usually show it, just
you probably did.
so being trained, because even when St. Leo's got all those refugees, we had to make a women's group. Oftentimes it was just as simple as like how to use a can opener, because like they'd come over and want to like make a meal, and they're used to growing everything from Burundi,
Yeah.
and we got cans here, and they're like stabbing them with a knife. We're like, dude, you're going to cut through your hand. So we got them can openers, and just like she still opens them that way. She's like,
Yeah, they even opened up a new Haitian grocery store.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
It just opened like, I'm probably last month.
well, if they got food stamps, somebody's going to spend it there, right? So somebody's going to receive that money.
Oh.
Okay. So just being trained, we can finish this up. I know we're down to 2.5 minutes, but we'll do the diversity stuff a bit more of it next time. Any questions on groups? Groups are big, and like it's weird too, because you either love them or you hate them. And you might know if you're like an introvert or extrovert. Some people love groups, and some people are like, I get anxious. Like, you know what I mean? So that's why it's good to lead them here to just get that practice, because a lot of yours will be like, if you lead groups, you're like, yeah, because that's what they want you to do. It's like, all right, it's my job. I can just build your confidence with that, because it is scary. But you can do it. You all can do it. We'll finish this one Friday, and I'll send that PowerPoint to you then too, because that's where we're at. One day we're going to have Samaje lead a group for you guys, because he has it incomplete and has to lead to finish his group, so he can break the ice for the group lead. Which is pretty nice, because usually it has to be one of you who's going to go first. Now he gets to be, either he does it by, I think it's September 15th. They always give you 6 weeks for your incompletes into the next semester. So before September 15th. Yes. We'll then see you all Friday. I'll be coming from hospice.
See ya.
All right, see you then.
Thank you.
So like, my friend actually, she had to be in the group, and she said she hated it.
She had a being what?
She had to be in the group. Like, they forced her to be in the group because she had did something in school.
Oh.
And like, they wanted her to be in the group. But
For trouble?
Yeah, but she hated it because like she felt like all the other people there, they needed it more than her.
Right.
So, you know, she.
That happens.
Like, I didn't feel like, I didn't really do much. These people are over here doing this and this and this, and I didn't do that, all that. But, you know, she had to do it, and then like, so she wasn't sharing, and so she said like the person who was